And today we have Joanna Courtney, who's our speech and language therapist at Cool Scotland, and Joe's going to be talking about some of the Bookbug resources for Clicker and Grid 3 software, which you can use on the PC and the iPad. And just before we get started, I see you have some files and folders and websites for people to share.
Yes, that's right, Craig. On the left of the screen there, the web links, these are some of the websites and resources that I'm going to be referring you to throughout the webinar. And on the right, the files there, and there's some downloadable files, including some templates for you to make your own resources.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, you. So you're going to share your desktop with us now, so we can see some of the resources that you've made. Okay, great. So okay. Joanna's just sharing her desktop, and probably going blank just now, but you'll see it come alive in a second. Right, great, good. Right.
Okay. Right, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. As Craig said, I'm going to talk about the new Clicker and Grid 3 resources that Call Scotland has made this year to accompany the existing Bookbug resources that we've been making for the last 6 years to go with the family bag of books that children are gifted in Scotland. Every P1 child in Scotland is gifted the Bookbug family bag during National Book Week in November. And we make symbol resources, accessible versions of the books, and now Clicker writing grids and Grid 3 eye gaze accessible versions of the books to go with these resources. So I'm just going to talk you through what's available so that you can download them ready to use with your learners. Okay, so I'm going to start off with at the Symbols for All website. So this is the main area for finding all these resources. Symbols for All website, and then if you go along to the Bookbug tab, take you along here, and this will take you to all the existing Bookbug resources we have. And if we're going to have a look at this year's resources, we will go to the primary one, Family Bag 2020. And here you'll see the 3 books that are in the book bag, for which we've made the accessible versions and the symbol resources. So it gives you an idea of what's available: GoTalk9 overlays, Big Mac switch tops, teaching activities, iPad sounding board versions of the boards, which is a free communication app, and our new Clicker 7 sets for writing support to go with each story in the book. So the idea of these Clicker grids is that it enables learners to write about what's happening in the story along with the communication, the AAC side of things, where learners are able to communicate about what's happening in the story and answer questions. They can now also write about what's happening in the story as well, with vocabulary that is directly linked to what they can say with the communication resources. So here's the quick guides, etc. And I'm going to use Sophie Johnson, Unicorn Expert, as the example here. So here you can see for this book there are the Big Mac symbols, the overlay for the GoTalk, the sounding board, app board, teacher activities, and I'm going to go down to the Clicker writing sets. So here's where you download the Clicker writing sets. They work in Clicker 7 or New Clicker 8. You would download the zip file and then open up Clicker 8 and open up your files from within Clicker. Or these ones here, the Clicker Connect, Clicker Sentences, and Clicker Connect here, these are sets for the Clicker apps. So if you have Clicker Sentences or Clicker Connect apps, they will work in those, and they're also compatible with the new Clicker Writer app. So what I'm going to do is okay, so now I've opened up Clicker 7 and I've downloaded my Clicker files onto my desktop, and I've unzipped them and I've now opened them up within Clicker. So this is Sophie Plays Unicorns with Her Toys. This is the first sentence to go with Sophie Johnson, Unicorn Expert. So there are 10 sentences in each sentence set for each book. So I can listen to the model sentence.
Sophie plays unicorns with her toys.
And then the words are in random order. I can try and put them into the right
Sophie
order.
Plays unicorns with her toys. Sophie plays unicorns with her toys.
And I can put a picture of my toys in.
Sophie and the toys make a mess.
So again, you've got the sentence, the words in random order, and the learner can put the sentence into the correct order.
Sophie and the toys make a mess. Sophie and the toys make a mess.
And as I said before, these writing activities match on exactly to the communication grid. So what you can say with the communication resources, you can then go on and write in Clicker and have your written work recorded too. So there are 10 to go with each book. That's the sentence sets. There's also sentence symbol supported sentence sets. So this time you've got the words, they're in sentence order, and you've got the symbols to go with them. I'll just show you those. Sophie loves magic. Sophie plays unicorns with her toys. Sophie and the toys make a mess. And you can go into the settings of Clicker and you can change and differentiate these activities. So you might want to have them in random order, or you might want to have sentence order, or you might want to have guided order, which is the earliest level where the learner is guided into which word comes next. So that's the connect set, and then the other connect set there is the book review one. So this time you've got a nice book review sentence set to do your writing. So I'll just give you an example of what's there for that. So I can have it say,
This book is about a girl called Sophie and unicorns. This book is about a girl called Sophie and unicorns.
and I can do return.
In the story, Sophie works hard and the unicorns are a bit messy in the story.
Okay, and a bit messy. And then it goes through to the next part. I like it when, and you can say what you liked about the story. And then if I was a unicorn, so what would you do if you were a unicorn? So it's just a nice little book review activity there too. So I'm going to take you, the other thing to mention actually is all these are eye gaze accessible as well. Within the Clicker 7 eye gaze settings, you can access the grids and you can use them with learners who have eye gaze as an access method. Now I'm just going to go back to the Symbols for All website here just to show you that there is a nice quick guide about how to use those Clicker resources, and that's one of the links that I've got on the desktop there, just taking you through what's available and how to download them. Okay, we're now going to go on and talk about the new Grid 3 books. So I'm going to take you back here. Top page. So from the Symbols for All resources, if you want to find the Grid 3 books, there are different ways you can find them. For this year's books, the best way to do it is to go to the Books for All database and just download them straight from the Books for All database. So I'm just going to follow this link here, and it's going to take me to the Books for All database and the Book Awards section. And here has got this year's books, which you can download from the website, and that's the current year's books. You can also download all the previous year's books in PowerPoint and Keynote format within the Books for All database too. So let's say if I was going to go and download Sophie Johnson Unicorn Expert and see what was available, I would go here. I'm logged into my Books for All account. It says up here, hi Joanna, you're logged in. And it'll give me all the different versions that are available for Sophie Johnson. So there's a Keynote version, which is for the iPad. There's a PowerPoint recorded narration version with navigation for someone who can independently navigate between the pages and listen to the text repeatedly if necessary and go back and forward through the book. There's a PowerPoint version, which is a switch prompt version. So this is a guided version with a switch prompt slide in between each page to slow the learner down and to aid independent navigation with a switch, and for early level learners. And these are also eye gaze accessible as well. So if you have your eye gaze camera, your settings on left mouse click, It means that the learner can look around the page of the book and they can select the switch page when it comes up as a single left click, and it will turn the page and take them to the next page of the book. So that PowerPoint with switch prompt versions are all eye gaze accessible and work really nicely with eye gaze too. But what I'm going to talk to you about a bit more today, because these are the new versions, we've been making those PowerPoint and keynotes for a few years now, are the grid versions of the books. In fact, before I go on to that, I would just say if you were interested in all the keynote versions and the PowerPoint versions, you can just search by the file type. So if I type in keynote, if I've got an iPad and I'm interested to see which books are available for the keynote app, which is basically PowerPoint on the iPad, it shows you all the keynote books that we've made from all the previous years too. So you can download those straight onto your mobile device. And likewise, if I was interested in all the previous years' PowerPoint books, I can search for PowerPoint and it'll come up with some nice thumbnails of all the books and all the versions that are available. So these are all the previous year's books that are available. So that's really nice and makes it a lot easier to find things as well on the new Books for All database. I'm just going to go back to my grid versions. And here they all are for this year's books. So The Prince and the Witch and the Thief and the Bears, The Station Mouse, and Sophie Johnson, Unicorn Expert. And here we go, there's Sophie Johnson, Unicorn Expert here. So I would just download that onto my PC, and I could, and it would then actually, if I had Grid 3 on the PC, it would directly open into Grid 3, or I can save it onto a memory stick and then put it onto a computer which has Grid 3, so it can play the file. So that's the Grid 3 version, which I'll show you in a minute how that works. But the other version that you'd probably be interested in is the Grid for iPad version. So again, this works in a similar way. You'd have your iPad, log into the Books for All database, find the find the grid version of Sophie Johnson, and then just download it, and it would open up in your Grid for iPad app. The nice thing about the Grid for iPad resources is they have the built-in Scottish Children's Voices within Grid 3 software as well. So once I've downloaded my my book, so I'm just going to show you how I would download that onto my computer, and then when it opens up, it looks something like this. So you have the page of the book, and then you can hear, "My name is Sophie Johnson, and I live with a unicorn." Okay, so you've got your page up there, and then you've got your phrases that the learner can say along with the story.
What a mess. Oh no. There he is.
There he is. There's the unicorn up there. And the really nice thing that I tend to do when you've got the eye gaze camera on is you can go in, oh, I can't do it on here actually, because if you go into, I don't have an eye gaze camera on here, but if you go into activation and you go into feedback, you can turn on the eye gaze dot. And that's really nice because when the learner is looking round the page, you can actually see the red eye gaze dot, and you can see if they're looking at the unicorn or if they're looking at the dog or the toys, and you can respond to where the learner is looking, which is really nice, as well as asking them, oh, can you find the cat? Where's the cat sitting? And see if they can find the cat on the bed. So they can communicate some repetitive phrases around the story. You can rest it again so they can look around the page without activating anything. They can listen again, and then when they're ready, they can move on to the next page. Well, not just. There is always a lot to do. Oh, look at Sophie over there. She's got the sellotape and it's all wrapped around the toys.
What a mess.
What a mess. Oh, and look what's happened here. The sandwiches are just about to fall.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Luckily, I am a unicorn expert. I'm very busy teaching my unicorns everything they need to know. We start with magic. Oh, look, who's this? Who's going out the door here? There he is.
There he is. There's the unicorn. I think he's going to go outside and have a play. Okay, so you get the idea of how they work. And what I'm going to do now is show you a little video of a girl using the Grid for iPad version and a little boy using the eye gaze version, just to show you how they look in real life. So I'm just going to go down here, open up my version on his grid pad.
I live with a unicorn. Oh no. What a mess.
There is a mess.
My name is Sophie Johnson, and I live with a unicorn. Well, not just one actually. I think I have 17 at the moment. What a mess. Oh no. There he is. Well, not just one actually. I think I have 17 at the moment. It can be hard work looking after so many. There is always a lot to do. What a mess. Oh no, there he is.
Now, the interesting thing about Logan was that he, as you can see there, he's reading the page, he's sometimes reading it again, and then he's going through kind of quite systematically going through the communication messages to see what there was. And then by the time we got about halfway through the book, he started actually picking out the appropriate message to go with each page. So you could really see him learning how to interact with the story and joining in appropriately as the story went on. So that was really nice. Now, the other video I'm going to show you is a girl using the Grid for iPad version of the story, just to show you how it works on the different devices.
And I show them how to hunt for food.
Wow!
And I teach them about the dangers of balloons. Sometimes my unicorns lose their horns.
Oh no! Oh no!
But I don't worry, because they soon grow back. Living with unicorns can be a bit tricky. They are quite messy. I try to explain that magic is more important than mess, but I don't think Mum understands.
You're trying to press what a mess. There we go.
What a mess. Unicorns have many enemies, so sometimes I have to protect them. Being a unicorn expert is harder than you'd think.
You can hear the auditory prompt as well for the child to turn the page.
It's a good job I'm here. Some people don't even know what a real unicorn looks like. That's why they need me, Sophie Johnson, unicorn expert.
There he is.
There he is. There he is.
Yay!
Really, it's a good job I'm here.
That plays it again. You can hear the page again.
What a real unicorn looks like. That's why they need me, Sophie Johnson, unicorn expert.
The end. The end.
Okay, so hopefully you can see from that how the different versions can be used on both PC and on iPad. If you want to find out more about how to use the Grid 3 and Clicker resources, we're just going to show you the link there. If I just go to the, whoops, I'm just going to show you on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist of the Bookbug Clicker and Grid 3 resources, and the link for that is on the front page of the webinar, and this will take you through myself showing you how to use the clicker sets with eye gaze and download them, and also using the different versions of the Grid 3 books. So that should hopefully give you a bit more information about how to use the books. If we just go back to the top page now, so I can talk you through resources.
Thank you. So just thanks, Joanna. And if you click stop sharing, thank you. And now we'll just go back to the So these are the resources you mentioned earlier, yeah?
Yes.
I can just
I'll just talk you through
click
these.
them. Okay.
So the web links on the left here, so there, that's the Using Eye Gaze with Bookbug Books, the YouTube playlist. So that'll take you to those videos talking you through how to use them with your learners in a bit more detail. Symbols for All website, Books for All website. I would recommend that you get signed up for a free account for Books for All, and then you can download the books to use with learners in Scotland with a print disability. And there's more about who is able to use the books on the Books for All website. For those of you who aren't in Scotland who like the look of the accessible books, unfortunately at the moment you cannot have a Books for All account at the moment, but what we have done is we've got a blank template for making the Grid 3 versions of the books, and that is on the right there in the files, the blank template for making a simple digital book. For eye gaze, grid set is there for those of you who have grid 3 or grids for iPad. You can download that and create your own books, and also the switch prompt template for making your own PowerPoint or Keynote books. So we put the blank templates on for those of you who aren't in Scotland. However, all the symbol resources and all the clicker resources are available to you no matter where you are out with Scotland. And the other thing to just keep in mind that the PowerPoint books for young readers, that PDF there, that's the bookshelf, which in fact I'll just show you that briefly.
So yeah, just share your screen.
Share my screen
so
again.
Just go and share your screen and you can see it.
There we go. I'll just go to share my screen. So the PowerPoint template, PowerPoint bookshelf that I was just going to show you. If we just go back. Here, so I've got it downloaded there. It's a download file. But if you go to this accessible books from the PowerPoint library PDF, so this is you can download this resource from the Call Scotland website, and it's linked to from Symbols for All, and that shows you all the books that are available on the Books for All database, just to give you an idea of what's available and which versions and which symbol resources are available for each one. And it's clickable links, so once you've downloaded it, the links will take you directly to the books and to the resources. Okay, I think that's all for now. Thanks, Craig.
Okay, if we just go back to the main page, and that's great. Thank you, Joanna. Okay, well, thank you to everyone for watching this, and thank you, Joanna, for hosting a really interesting, great work you're doing there, by the way. All that Bookbug stuff and eye gaze and PowerPoint is really excellent stuff, and those videos are really interesting as well. Okay, thanks, Joanna. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.